Hello and welcome into Addison to 35th podcast, your Chicago baseball authority. My name is Herb Lawrence. I am one half of the Addison to 35th podcast. My host is Ryan Herrera, who does the Cub version of this very same show. I cover the White Sox here at Addison to 35th. If you want to write either of us an email, just send it to addison235th at gmail.com. That is addison235th at gmail.com. You can follow myself, Herb Lawrence, on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. That is my last name, Lawrence, spelled backwards, ECNERWAL23 for Robin Ventura. Or if you want to go over there to Blue Sky, it is my name, Herb Lawrence, .bsky.social over there on Blue Sky. Or if you're so inclined, go to Instagram and follow me and watch for some of the pictures. Just recently got married. It's our 1 month anniversary as of yesterday. And we got pictures of that up there on Instagram. So you can go and check that out. And I know some of you guys are wondering, hey, Herb, what's up with the episodes? What's going on? We are in the current state of moving from our apartment in Uptown to the suburbs of Chicago. So there's been a lot of movement. We've been doing a lot of work around the house that we're going to be moving into. We're going to be closing a second, and we're just very busy. And so this has become secondary, but don't think that my excitement for the White Sox has also waned, because what the White Sox have done as of late has resparked my love of this team. I've always loved the White Sox and the organization, but the last couple of years, you can tell that you at home, myself, every White Sox fan feels a way about this team because of where we were and where we were headed to, and then what actually did happen. As you can see my shirt, if you're watching, it's a shirt that says I hate it here. I don't actually hate at the ballpark. I was just dreading watching White Sox baseball for the last couple of years, because you go from the apex of 2020 making the playoffs, 2021 winning the division, to the 2022 season where you're 500 at 81 and 81. You're like, okay, that was bad. At least we got Tony out of here. We're ready to go now. They hired Pedro, 61 and 101 in 2023. Bad, terrible. No respect for the game manager. Players were really bad. They were really hurt. Yohan, Tim, etc., etc. Aloy. It was not a good year in 2023. And then you're like, oh, it can't get any worse. And then 2024 hits us right over the face with 41 and 121 record. And it was just like, ugh, I love this organization. I've been watching them since 1990, but it's a chore to watch them, because not only are they losing games, but they're not playing right. They're not playing good baseball. And it's just so frustrating to see a team and a organization that you love, that you dedicate at least 3 hours a day to watching and or listening to, and them not respecting that. Not the players, not the front office, nobody respecting the fans' time and energy they've put into this organization for years on end. And that's disrespectful to us when you lose the way they did last year. And I thought at the beginning of this year, we're going to do the same, because we had all these veterans on the team. We're having all the youngsters sent down to the minors. It was kind of, oh, here we go again. Had the similar record to start the season off as 2024. And I'm like, here we go again. But then you're getting drips and drabs of these young players, some infusion of young, talented players on the White Sox. And you're like, yes, Meidroth. I'll get to him later. You already know. That's my guy. That's my man, 20 grand. Love that dude. He is awesome. Then you get Edgar Quero up here. Switch hitting catcher. Young, 22 years old. Excellent to have him up here. Tim Elko, a cup of coffee initially, hit a home run every 10 at bats when his first stint was up here. Then got sent down with Andrew Vaughn on that Friday afternoon, and then subsequently has been brought back, and right on time, every 10th at bat, hit another home run. That is very exciting to see that, hey, might not be winning, and we might not be a competing team right now, but here's some youngsters. Here's some players that are exciting. And this Garrett Crochet trade pretty much has 2/4 of those people that you have that are making this very exciting right now. Because on Friday, we learned the promotion of Kyle Teel. Some would say the headliner of the Garrett Crochet trade, or the co-headliner with Braden Montgomery, who's still in the minor leagues killing the ball himself. And when you get that announcement, because Kyle Teel was down there murdering AAA, you're like, okay, the White Sox see what we see. Yeah, they already have Edgar Quero up here, and he's a young catcher, so he needs to play a lot. But if a player is doing as well as Edgar Quero or as Kyle Teel is doing in the minor leagues, you can't hold him back. You can't have him just toil down there in the minors just to have, comfort at the major league level with Corey Lee and Edgar Quero. You have to reward these players. You have to show some meritocracy as far as baseball, because that filters down. I guarantee you, all the rest of the players who were in the minor league system for the White Sox see Chase Meidroth get off to a good start at Charlotte and get instantly promoted. They're like, yes, I like it. Same thing with Quero, same thing with Elko, and now with Kyle Teel. You feel like that is going to filter on down the rest of the organization. Say, all I need to do is do well where I'm at, and promotions are being given. Either a promotion from low A to high A to double A to triple A, or triple A to the majors. And that is a thing that the White Sox, for years on end, I don't think their organization felt. Like, it didn't feel like you do well in the minors, you get the promotion, or you do poorly at the majors, you get demoted, like they did with Andrew Vaughn. It took way too long for them to do that, but eventually they did it. And I don't know who's whispered in whose ear, but it looks like a new leaf has been turned over, and the White Sox are starting to play and starting to manage and operate this organization the way that most of us White Sox fans would want. We understood this was going to be a lost year. This year is about development. And now that we have 4 to 5 good young players on the team that could be with the team when they will be competing in a couple years, hopefully, fingers crossed, it's tangible. It feels like we're here. We're here at the beginning point of the White Sox turning this whole thing around. You can't tell me on Friday night, when they had Mexican Heritage Night, sold out ballpark, the largest crowd of the year, Kyle Teel making his major league debut, the White Sox wearing their City Connect uniforms, that electric atmosphere that you felt through the TV. I didn't go to the game, but I felt the electric atmosphere through the TV, that people wanted this. People were happy to go to the game, to celebrate being a White Sox fan, to celebrate being of Mexican heritage, and wanted to be in that ballpark for the event that it was on Friday. I wish I have FOMO now that I didn't go on Friday night, but as I said, we're moving, so we can't go to games willy-nilly right now. We're trying to get things in a row, but don't think that is a lack of actual interest. I would have loved to gone to Sunday's game, because the guys at Sox on 35th and Chicago Sports Bums threw Southpaw a birthday for his 21st birthday. And I love those tailgate events. As you guys know, Chicago Sports Bums throws on the best tailgate in Lot B. Every time they do it, it's a great time at Whiskey at Comiskey. And to celebrate Southpaw's birthday, my guy, I would have loved to have been there, and to try to get a sweep versus the Royal. Man, the atmosphere this weekend, I felt it outside the ballpark when I was watching the games. Just so much has happened since the last time I talked to you. Like, we talked about the Justin Ishbia, Jerry Reinsdorf thing. In that same vein, the White Sox now are on Xfinity. They finally got a deal with Xfinity for CHSN, so all the games will be played on that, and DirecTV and a couple other services, Fubo too, I think. But it's no longer over the air, which sucks for people who, like myself, who watch the games via the antenna. Now you got to go out and get DirecTV or another service that does carry the White Sox. But that's good. That's getting the White Sox in front of more eyeballs. getting these games just out there, because I know a bad team, no one's going to be looking and searching for their games and trying to buy a $30 antenna to go and watch the White Sox, Bulls, or Blackhawks, just so they can go and check it out. But now it's just on. Like, the fact that we're going to be moving, and finally, after years, we're going to have Marquee Sports Network. I'll be checking out a couple Cubs games when the White Sox are not on. It's just the availability. Sometimes just having baseball in the background just fills you with a good feeling. At least myself, I feel so good when a baseball game is on, and I can just do other things. Like, we're moving right now, and so I'll have a baseball game in the background while I'm packing boxes or thinking about what I'm going to do my next move, or thinking about this podcast and what I'm going to talk to you about. It just feels better. And so them having availability on the biggest cable provider in the Chicagoland area is a big time deal for the White Sox. We're having positive news. Usually when the White Sox are in the national media, it's something embarrassing, something Jerry Reinsdorf did, some all-time losing record like they had last year, et cetera, et cetera. But now you're getting positive news. That Justin Ishbia news was a national headline. People talked about it from Foul Territory, the MLB Network, et cetera, because finally the White Sox are moving forward. It looks like they're going to be a major league team that is of 2025 instead of when Jerry bought the team in 1981. That feels good. I know it's 5 years minimum before Jerry will give up controlling interest of this team, but I hope on the day that he is available to give up interest, and he's like, okay, it's been enough. These 5 years with Justin Ishbia being my cohort, I can see my team is in good hands. I'm going to hand over the reins to this man and let him take over controlling interest, go and live my life in Arizona, the rest of my years in Arizona comfortably, and have a great time. That'll be excellent. That'll be the thing, because that's the one thing that I still have trepidation about, is that the controlling owner is still Jerry Reinsdorf. I know what Justin Ishbia said. He's going to help pay down some debt and have some influx monetarily into this organization. And hopefully through that influx, he convinces Jerry, hey, man, the thing that stymied the last rebuild was a lot of things. But the major part of that was when it was time to supplement the income or supplement the roster by going out and get a free agent, a big-time free agent, you didn't do it. You struck out on Manny Machado. You struck out on Bryce Harper, et cetera, et cetera. Zach Wheeler chose to go to Philadelphia. I don't necessarily think that is a strikeout, because the White Sox did give a quality effort there. But with Justin Ishbia and his family being part of the whole team that will be influencing this team going forward, especially monetarily, if there's a guy out there that, man, we just can't get that right field position right, but this right fielder is out here for us to buy. He's in his prime. He cost a lot, but for us to win a lot, we have to get this position done and corrected and fixed. I hope Jerry Reinsdorf allows Justin Ishbia to throw his money at these players, and Jerry contributes a little himself. Because you can see, I know that most people watch this show, maybe don't watch the Cubs or don't listen to the Cubs, but the Cubs last year, offensively, listless. Not that great. Dansby sucked. Nico wasn't as good as he should have been. Cody Bellinger was down. Seiya was making errors in right field and wasn't the guy that he is now. But one change. You went and got, via trade, Kyle Tucker. And the whole offense has changed. Because you got a top 5 hitter in Major League Baseball to play on your team. You've unlocked Pete Crow Armstrong. Michael Busch looks like a different hitter. Seiya Suzuki's hitting the ball with authority. He's one of the top people in RBIs. That's just one guy infused into a lineup that was already there. and now they're one of the top offenses, if not the top offense in baseball. That's what the White Sox need to do. When it comes time, when they're on the precipice of competing, and this AL Central, let me tell you, is tough. But look at last week. The Tigers came in here for 4 games. You would think that, and I thought that, if the White Sox can get a sweep, that's a win. And that's exactly what they did. They got a sweep versus the best team in Major League Baseball at the time. And that, I think, catapulted them to go and get 2 out of 3 versus the Kansas City Royals. Could have got 3 out of 3, but that Sunday game, Bobby Witt came in the game and does Bobby Witt things against the Chicago White Sox. Even though the White Sox gave quality effort to come back in the 9th inning, still fell a little short, but won 2 out of 3 there, and a winning homestand versus the Tigers and the Royals, both teams over 500, both teams in the playoffs last year. So, yes, it might be far away as far as the playoffs, but don't tell the Tigers that. Don't tell the Royals that. They just saw this White Sox team, and I guarantee you they're like, this White Sox team is different than the team we just played last year. And I think one of the main reasons is my guy, Chase Meidroth. Just a solid as solid can be player. Like I tweeted the other day, I don't think I can love Chase Meidroth more after he did something spectacular. I believe that he made a play in the field, or no, he had a late RBI where he went the opposite way. And I was like, this guy just does it all. Like he understands baseball. Then he doesn't usually swing at first pitches. And he got a pitch right in the middle of the zone. And I think the scouting report is as such. Hey, this guy doesn't swing at first pitches. He's got a 7% first pitch swing. He ambushed a pitcher the other day and hit a home run for his second home run of his young career. And I was like, this guy's just smart. He's smart and talented and just good at everything. And like I've been saying, and I just heard my guy Beef Loaf say on his podcast with Julie Swyka, it was the Au last night. You should listen to that. It's a good episode, and you should listen to all the good stuff that comes out of the 108. But Chase Meidroth is what we were promised Nick Madrigal to be. Hit tool, speed tool, smarts on the bases, glove. Like everything that everything that Nick Madrigal wasn't, Meidroth is. And just a couple things I just got to pass along. Like if he was qualified for F4, had enough qualified bats, and he'll get there soon, he would be the 58th, tied for 58th place right now in F4 with a 1.4 F4 with names like $500 million Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Chase Meidroth is just as valuable in F4 as Vladimir Guerrero this season. How about the guy I just mentioned, Michael Busch, hitting a bunch of home runs, getting on base, playing a solid defense for first base for the Chicago Cubs. Chase Meidroth is tied with him in more and fewer games. How about Junior Caminero, big-time prospect for the Tampa Bay Rays? Chase Meidroth tied with him in F4. That's because Chase is a complete player. He has a 12% walk rate and a 12% strike K rate. It's amazing. He has an 85 percentile in fielding run value, a 95th percentile in chase rate. I would think he would have a higher chase rate just solely because his name is Chase. It would be like in the 100th percentile of chase rate, but he's in the 95th and the 98th percentile in whiff rate. And the offense has been spectacular. But as I said before, fielding run values, he's in the 85th percentile, in the 94th percentile of outs above average. His range is just ridiculous, especially at shortstop, which I didn't think he can play, at least consistently, because his arm isn't strong enough. But he makes the plays that are just normal shortstop plays and beyond. The other day, a ball was hit slowly to him at shortstop, took the ball himself, stepped on first, and while he was stepping on first, jumped in the air, threw it to first, or stepped on second. While he was throwing to first, he jumped up in the air and threw a dart to Tim Elko to complete the double play. I was like, what can't this guy do? Like, the only knock on him is he doesn't have a lot of power. But other than that, this kid gets a job done every single time he goes out there. And for me, it's appointment television when he goes up to bat because I know he's going to do something well. I know he's going to work the count. I know he's going to see a lot of pitches. I know if there's a opportunity to hit the ball the opposite way, he's going to do it. He's going to do whatever is necessary and give you a quality effort each time he hits that plate and even when he's out there in the field. So I'm in love with the player. I could not have asked for a better player, and it's kudos to Rick Hahn. I was going to give Rick Hahn credit for that. No, kudos to Chris Getz for finding the player and developing the player. I know most of the heavy lifting was done by Boston and by the University of San Diego, but this kid has to be one of the leading candidates to be the White Sox representative when they play in Atlanta this July for the Midsummer Classic. Him, I haven't even gone to the pitching yet, where Shane Smith is dominating himself, where he might be another option for the White Sox to be the representative for them. Because, they still have the worst record in the American League. Thank God for the Colorado Rockies, who still only have 12 wins. White Sox have 20, I believe, now. So they won't get multiple players, I don't believe, because of the bad record. But if Chase Meidroth keeps on playing like this, it'll be hard to keep. And if Shane Smith keeps on pitching like this, it'll be hard to keep both of those guys out of the All-Star game because not only would they deserve it, but they'll be doing this against teams where this week they have a spotlight on with the Houston Astros. We'll get to that series and what the White Sox will be doing in that series versus the Houston Astros as far as probables and pitchers a little bit later. But there'll be a spotlight in the last month and a half until we get to the All-Star game. And hopefully Chase Meidroth continues to do what he has done this whole year and just impressed us to know him. The other news we got on Monday, it was broken by James Fox of Future Sox, is that Grant Taylor, the fireballing pitcher from LSU, guy that everybody got mad at when the White Sox as an organization took him from the starting rotation down there in Birmingham and put him in the bullpen. I think they did it with a purpose so he can fast track himself to the major leagues, which he has. He is going to make his major league debut sometime in Houston. Well, he's going to be at the ballpark at Houston later on tonight, and they have called him up after a season where he started 15, or he played in 15 games, started 6 of those, gave us 26 innings, and in those 26 innings, a 101 earned run average. The guy has been just nails down there in Birmingham. He hasn't given up a home run this whole year. It has struck out 37 in this time down there in the 26 innings that he has pitched down there in Birmingham. Fireballer, guy that's got some good stuff. If you want to learn more, go to the folks at Future Sox or our own guy, Elijah Evans, and learn a little bit more about what Grant Taylor is going to bring to the table. He was teammates with Paul Skeens back at LSU, and some said if he didn't get hurt, that him and Paul would have had competing for that number 1 pick overall a couple years ago. We see where Paul Skeens is at right now, up there doing well for himself in Pittsburgh, even though the team isn't doing that well. But I think that getting Grant Taylor up to the major leagues and maybe eventually, like I'm sure, like Garrett Crochet before him and like Chris Sale before him, this will be brief. This will be, hey, you're in the bullpen this year, but next year or the year after, we can transition you into a starter if you're more comfortable, if you want to do that. But acclimating him to the major league game right now, giving him some success out of the bullpen, which the White Sox dearly need. And this is what we need to do as a team. We don't need to see a veteran on this team that won't give you any trade value and won't be on this team when the team is good. So I'm softening my position on Mike Tauchman because how he's hitting right now, somebody's going to come calling. And somebody's going to give you something of value back from Mike Talkman. It might just be a lottery ticket in the minors. It's still cool. I don't necessarily need to see Josh Rojas anymore, but I'm fine with it. But if you have an opportunity to insert some youth into this major league team, by all means, please do it. And that's what they're doing. It seems like they've gotten the message that this year is about development and bring all these players who have earned the right to come up here. It's not, you're just not giving them. That's why Colson Montgomery's not here yet, because he hasn't earned the right to be here. If Colson Montgomery was doing the things that they thought that he should be doing consistently throughout the year, he would already be up here. And I believe he will be up here eventually, because there's no need to waste this year on the Michael A. Taylors of the world. Probably a great guy. Probably one of the best guys. But as soon as somebody comes calling for him, there's a door. I don't know why they're playing Joshua Palacio so much. He's not necessarily young, nor needed anywhere else in the major leagues. So I would be more inclined to go and get Brooks Baldwin back up here. If we're going to be doing that thing where we're just giving playing time to anybody in right field, I know Austin Slater's there. I know Palacios is there and Mike Tauchman. But Brooks Baldwin, he is the ultimate utility guy that you need on a team that is winning. You give him a glove and you give him a bat, and he says, I don't care, put me in the lineup, and he gets the job done. Down there in the minor leagues, he's already hit 6 home runs since he's been sit back down. And I want him back here in the major leagues because of his versatility, his youth, and I just think he's just a good player. I said that he could be like an Eduardo Escobar was, the guy the White Sox traded for Francisco Liriano, I believe that was, to the Minnesota Twins. And then he went on to have a nice career, made a couple All-Stars with the Twins. I think he made one with the D-backs. That's the type of player I believe that you can get out of Brooks Baldwin. And that's the type of team that the White Sox should be striving for, that versatile utility man, fourth outfielder, fifth infielder like Brooks Baldwin. You got the youth behind the plate at Kyle Teel and Edgar Quero. First base, Tim Elko. This is the year to see if Tim Elko could stick and be an actual first baseman. And I love that they're allowing this to happen. I don't want him to be sent back down to the minors. Allow him just to play all the games. Chase Meidroth either at second or short, choose a position and stick him there so he knows that this is his position. He won't be moving around all that time. Once Colson comes up here, choose a position where he's going to play. You got Miguel Vargas, 25 years old, young. Let's go. Soon as somebody wants something to do with Andrew Benintendi, send him packing. And his extra money, if it has to take more money and you White Sox have to pay more money, that's why Justin Ishby is here. Give me young players. Same thing with Luis Robert Jr. Send him packing. This year is about youth, and you could see this youth has been served. This youth comes up here with a little confidence. They're not scared of the moment. Kyle Teel came up here immediately, and his first weekend went 3 for 8. Got on base 50%. Threw a couple runners out at second base as a catcher. Like, he's not scared of the moment. He was ready for the moment when he started. Same thing with Meidroth. Same thing with Quero. Same thing with Tim Elko. Same thing with Shane Smith. These young players are going to carry the White Sox into the future. And then you can assess where they're at after this year and then see if you need to make adjustments as far as, okay, this player can't make it, or this position is lacking in talent and in depth. We need to go out and get a veteran right here to play a little better in 2026, et cetera, et cetera. But from what I've seen in the last month plus, I've loved White Sox baseball. I'm back to in love with White Sox baseball. I always love White Sox baseball, but I'm actively in love with the team and how they're doing everything right now as far as youth development, changing the swings of Miguel Vargas, changing, deliveries of players, giving chances to Adrian Hauser. I mean, somebody was asking me the other day, should we sign him to a longer deal? I was like, he's a little longer in the tooth. He's a long veteran. I'm sure if he continues to do like this, somebody will come calling for him. And as I said with all the other players who are veterans and won't be here when the White Sox are actually winning, somebody sees Adrian Hauser after these 4 victories, these 4 great games that he's pitched, and they say, I want Adrian Hauser. God bless. Send him away. Thank you for your service. You've done extraordinarily great. Much better than anybody would have thought of. But enjoy Detroit. Enjoy San Diego. Enjoy Texas. And speaking of Texas, the White Sox will do the 2-step. Initially, they'll be going to Houston for tonight's game versus the Astros. And I got the starting pitchers for the set, the probables for this 3-game set down there in Houston. Tonight's game starts at 7:10 down there at Dakin Field or Dakin Park. I don't even know what that is. Used to be Minute Maid Park. I guess they ran out of that, or Enron Field. I guess they ran out of that money and they changed to another company. But it'll be Shane Smith, 2-3 with a 2.45 ERA on the bump versus Lance McCullers Jr., 1-1 with a 4.44 ERA. You remember Lance McCullers Jr. making his debut this year versus the White Sox after 2+ years off after Tommy John surgery and other ailments that he had during that time. So the White Sox have seen Lance McCullers Jr. before. I think he only pitched like 3 1/3 that game. The White Sox were about to get to him at the end of his start, but he left early. So that'll be tonight versus the Houston Astros. Tomorrow's game, Sean Burke with a 3.6 ERA and a 4.03, a 3-6 record, a 4.03 ERA, will be going against Ryan Gusto, 3-3 with a 4.79 ERA. And then it just changed on me. On the night game on Thursday will be Davis Martin, 2-6 with a 3.62 ERA versus Framber Valdez, 6-4, a 3.07 ERA. So the White Sox will be facing them. Then on Friday through Sunday, they will be going to Arlington, Texas to face the Texas Rangers, who are currently 31-35 on the year. But we always know that Texas Rangers team and that outfit is a little tougher. I think the White Sox beat them 2 out of 3 the times they came up here to Chicago. So I probably will not have a show after the Houston Astros series. The next time you'll hear from me will be after the Texas Rangers series, probably Sunday into Monday, because like I said, we'll be moving on Thursday and I won't have time to sit down and do this episode. So for Ryan Herrera, who does the Cubs version of Addison to 35th, my name is Herb Lawrence. You can follow me on Twitter, Actonwell23, or Addison to 35th at gmail.com is the way you could send me an email. We'll see you the next time we talk, and hopefully the White Sox will have some more good news, as we've been all exuberated, been all jazzed up. Hopefully some news about the 78, that Justin Hishby is going to put some money into that, and the White Sox eventually can move over to the 78 with the Fire. Let's go. Let's put that out in the atmosphere. Let's have them move it to a new ballpark, even though I like guaranteed rate field. It's awesome. But in this new era, we need something new. We need a beautiful ballpark, a show place for baseball, and what better place could be than the 78 right there in the South Loop of Chicago. So thank you for joining me on Addison to 35th.